Would you like to learn how to make a folded ruffle wreath? Today we are using this stunning sign. Look at that. It's so pretty. It's big. And so is our wreath. We're going to use Deco mesh. We're also going to use orchid bundles or one loop bundles. I don't know if you've ever seen me make those, but those are pretty and also fun. Hello, my sweet friends, and welcome to DIY with Nadia. My co-host today is Rocky, who's currently behaving surprisingly, and we are ready to get started on our gorgeous folded ruffle wreath. Let's go through the supplies we're going to need. You're not going to need the 3 colors. I'm going to be using some leftover Deco mesh and use 3 colors. You can also use 2 colors or just one roll of 21-inch Deco mesh that is 10 yards in length. You're going to need a total of 10 yards no matter what colors or how many rolls you use. When it comes to my ribbon, both of these are wired. They're 1.5 inches, 18 pipe cleaners, floral wire to attach the sign to the wreath. A 14-inch metal wreath base. This gorgeous sign that I'm going to use, I got on Temu. It's metal. It has 4 holes already in it so I can attach. In the description box below, you will find all the supplies I'm going to use and where I purchased them. To cut your Deco mesh, you can either use a rotary cutter, or if you have some foiling, you can definitely use a wood burning tool. For this method, I'm going to be using 18 pipe cleaners like you would in a poof wreath, but we're not going to be attaching them the same way. I'm going to be attaching 3 per section. 1 is going to go on the intersection and 2 on the inside. Intersection, 2 on the inside. And we're also going to zigzag them. That way it will give you a beautiful full wreath. So the first one, I'm going to be attaching on rows 2 and 3. 2 twists, folding towards the inside. You really don't need to do this for this method, but I can't help it. I always do that. Whatever the inner row is going to face inside, whatever the outer row is going to face outside. The next one I'm going to be putting on rows 3 and 4. For this wreath, I'm going to be twisting closer to row 3 just because I'm going to be attaching our ribbon bundles only to the outside row, and I don't want the ribbon bundles to be too far away to the outside. And our third one is going to go once again on rows 2 and 3, 2 twists. If you are using a sign that's on the smaller side, then you would zigzag between rows 1 and 2, 2 and 3, 1 and 2, 2 and 3. Another way people use this method is rows 1 and 2, 2 and 3, 3 and 4. Next section, 1 and 2, 2 and 3, 3 and 4. I usually don't do that because I find zigzagging between the 2 rows is just perfect for this wreath. All the pipe cleaners are on. I have 9 on the inner row and 9 on the outer row. Now it's time to get going with our Deco mesh. We are going to need 18 pieces of Deco mesh, whether you're using 1 full roll of 10 yards, 2 rolls, or 3. We are going to be cutting our Deco mesh into 20-inch strips. It looks like I used the wood burning tool on this Deco mesh last time. Look at this. Look how beautiful it looks. Measuring off 20 inches, I'm going to cut between 2 lines. Doesn't matter how crooked or how straight the lines are, just keep on cutting between 2 lines. And the cutting mat that I'm using is actually 24 inches by 36 in length, and I love it because I can cut everything without worrying that I need to add a ruler on the side or anything like that. As always, I want to remind you to be doing this in a very ventilated area. I have a window right in front of my desk. If you're using 1 roll of Deco mesh, of course, you will need 18 pieces at 20 inches. If you are using 2 rolls of Deco mesh, then you will of course need 9 pieces each. And if you're using 3 colors like I'm using, you are going to need 6 pieces of Deco mesh of each color at 20 inches. This Deco mesh right here is the reason that I'm using my wood burning tool. That's because it's very heavily foiled, but it gives this beautiful shade of blue. So I said, you know what? We're just going to use our heating tool and go for it because it's going to make one pretty wreath. Just going to put some scissors so it weighs down my deco mesh as I'm going to even out that edge. Another important tip when cutting your deco mesh with a wood burning tool is to make sure that you're going down the line really quickly. Don't stall anywhere, because if you start stalling, then you basically make little holes in the edges of the deco mesh. All my deco mesh is cut up. I have 6 of each color, and this is how I'm going to lay them out. Since we have a zigzag coming back and forth, that means this roll is going to end up being on the inside row, then the outside row, inside row, and then on the outside row. Using 3 colors is going to give you a nice balance on your wreath. Before we make our folded ruffle, I want to mention that I'm going to be talking about the factory edge. The factory edge is the side edge of the deco mesh on both sides, and it has a nice thick layer of deco mesh right at the edge, which makes it nice and strong. And then of course the cut edge, that's where we used our cutting tool. Unroll our deco mesh, and we're going to fold it in half, bringing together factory edge to factory edge. And it should look something like this. This deco mesh is super curly because the spool that it was rolled on was very small, so it's really curling up on me. What I'm going to do is just grab one of these clamps, and I'm going to clamp at the top. If you want, you can clamp in the center also, but you really don't need to. What I like to do instead is just use something like scissors, put them down while I'm working on this edge. Now see how it's curling right there? That's just fine. What I'm going to do is uncurl it until it's folded back about an inch. This is to prevent fraying on the end, and same thing on this bottom side. Bring them together so it should look something like this. Now that I have my inch curled in, I'm going to start collecting right in the center. Deco mesh like this, you don't know where the center is. That's why using a cutting mat is a great idea, because I know where my center is. I'm just going to focus on my little square and bring my deco mesh together. Look how helpful it is using just that one clamp on the edge. It keeps everything together. And undo this, and I am going to let this one also curl in about an inch, and as you can see, there's no problem there. It wants to do it on its own. Make sure this end is folded in an inch also, and then finish bringing everything together. You should have a beautiful folded ruffle like this, factory edges, and this is our smooth end. What I highly recommend is starting with the smooth end on the outside of your wreath. What that's going to do is help prevent fraying, because we're going to have to invert the next one where the tails are facing the outside and the smooth end is facing the inside. But since I'm doing that to the inner row, that's going to go in a little bit. Let's move on to our next one, which is going to be the ivory. And we're going to do the same thing. Open it up, factory edge to factory edge. Going to go on one end and put a clamp there to make it easier for us. And then just unroll to the bottom. Put your deco mesh vertically. Fold in the edges about an inch, just like this. As you can see, this one's already curled, so we're just going to lay it straight. Put it in the center of your cutting mat, and let's bring it together. Really quick and easy. How fun is this wreath? I know it's something different, but hey, if you want to try this method, it's so much fun, and I know some of you actually prefer it because it does give you a beautiful and full wreath. We are going on the inner row, that's row 2 and 3, and I'm going to put my deco mesh in with tails facing out this time. Since I know I'm not going to be putting anything else on this pipe cleaner, I'm going to go ahead, twist it up, cut about an inch from the connection. If you want to do this part all the way at the end, you can definitely do that. Now we're moving back to the outside, and we're going to do this pink one. Let's do one more folded ruffle, and I'm going to speed it up a little bit. We're going back to the outside row, so of course the smooth end needs to be facing the outside. And these pipe cleaners we're leaving alone also. I'm going to continue working in the same pattern, and I'm going to attach the green, ivory, and pink going all the way around. Everything's on. You can see the colors laid out beautifully. One of the ways that I do like to fill the wreath in is grab the tails, the curly ones that are facing out, and pull them up. They are going to fill in this space, this gap in between. Go ahead and do that throughout the wreath. Just pull them up. The wreath is nice and solid. Now it's time to prepare our ribbon bundles. When it comes to my ribbon, I'm going to be cutting it into 20-inch strips. We are going to need 9 strips of each ribbon. When you have your 9 strips, go ahead and fold the little triangle and cut that out so we can have beautiful dovetails. Cut dovetails on both sides, just like this. I have 9 pieces of each ribbon at 20 inches. Grab one of each. Let's lay this out and keep one of the clips. Starting with the blue ribbon, I'm going to fold it in half. Don't pinch here. Let it be nice and smooth. Then where the center is, just like this, but this time let's pinch. And this is how you know where the center is. Then grab the second ribbon and do the same thing. Fold in half, but don't pinch right here. Fold in half one more time, and now pinch. Now we want to make sure that the loops are facing the opposite way. Now we have loop tail and tail loop. Bring it together and attach it to your pipe cleaner. Give it a few good twists, about an inch from the connection. Cut it off, fold, and fold back. We're not going to open it up at this point. Right now, I'm just going to go ahead and continue making the little bundles. So in half, one more time, pinch, pinch, in half, then one more time, pinch, pinch, face the opposite way, bring it together, and attach. Twist up, cut off, fold, and fold back. All the ribbon bundles are on, and as you can see, I have tails that are facing the inside and then loops, tails and loops, or if we're going from the outside, it loops, tails, loops, tails. It is going to look really nice when we open them up. Let's bring our sign in and look how the colors are working well together. The little black stripe goes nicely with the words. That's why I use this ribbon, and we're just pulling everything together. Let's attach the floral wire. I'm going to cut 4 pieces at about 10 inches. You're not going to need more than that. I have my 4 pieces of floral wire. If you would like, you can also use a pipe cleaner. The floral wires are just really nice because you can blend them in with whatever image you have on the sign, and that's why I have a lot of different colors of floral wire. Let's find a nice spot and make sure that you get the ribbon out of the way and center your sign. Now let's flip and attach. The sign is on beautifully. Now let's add a hanging loop. I just go whoop to the top. I got some jute cord, going to make a knot or 2. Cut off the excess tail, pull it through to the front, and at this point, if you would like to use a placemat and cover the back of the wreath, you can do that, or whatever you use. Some people like felt. I'm not going to do this because I know where it's going to hang. And finally, we can add the final touch, which is opening up our orchids. The first thing I'm going to do is these tails, let's just stretch them out. The loop, we're going to just loop it up. On the other side, we're going to do the loop. The tails, the second one needs to be flipped, and I'm going to flip it as close to the connection as possible. I usually do this before I attach my orchids, but because I knew it was just going to be a simple 1.5 inch ribbon, and this is really good quality, I knew that it was going to stay in place nicely. So I'm just going to stretch out the tails. We have loop 1, loop 2, and we have our orchid ribbon bundle. I think it's so pretty. I love doing this and using different types of ribbon. Oh, so much fun. Okay, same thing here. The tail that is upside down, we're going to go all the way to the center where we have our pipe cleaner. Do a nice twist and lay out that beautiful tail. There is our little loop. Let's get this one and let's open up the bottom tails. If you would like, you can switch the ribbons out where the blue one would be on top and bottom, on top and bottom, but I did want the stripes to be prominent because this wreath has so many colors. You need something bold to stand out, and I decided that this ribbon is what's going to do it because the wording is so important in the sign. I decided that just having all the striped ribbon on top would be the best way to do this. And by the way, yes, there's going to be a section of the wreath like right here where you're going to have 2 of the same ones because the number is not even. If it was 8, then yeah, it would have been fine, but because it's 9, you're going to have a spot where 2 of these are facing the same way, and you know what? That's okay, my friends. That's really okay. Using 3 colors like this would be perfect for something like red, white, and blue, or red, green, and white for Christmas. Some gorgeous fall colors maybe. What did you think of how I got rid of some of my leftover deco mesh? I think it turned out great. If I were to give a tip for today, it would be definitely to make sure that whatever wording that you have on your sign, you think of a way to bring it out in either the ribbon or the deco mesh that you use. In this case, the striped ribbon really draws your eye to the wording, and that is what this wreath is about. So I hope you enjoyed this beautiful wreath tutorial. I hope you enjoyed this wreath tutorial. I loved how big, colorful, and beautiful this wreath turned out. For more videos like this, don't forget to like, subscribe, and of course, hit the thumbs up button so our channel keeps on growing and we keep on coming back. Say bye and wish everyone a beautiful and blessed day.